And I mean, I think the biggest thing to note in this matchup, Rance, is that this is basically a best of one, isn't it?
Well, in this situation, yeah, man, each player with one map under their belt there, and they're going to be able to just push reset on the situation. Attero's going to be able to forget that ugly first round there, and viOLet drops his first map here of the tournament this week.
Yeah. I mean, didn't last week he went 3-1 over Attero, right? So Attero did take a game off of him in that situation. You know, I think Attero, with that last match, he got to play his game. He got to control the pace of the game, and that really made the difference for him and allowed him to just say, you know what, I'm just gonna take it, and I'm really excited to see what he does this game.
This is a smaller map too, Gwin. I'm really curious to see if viOLet's going to try anything fancy with the close proximity here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, because, I mean, we could potentially see something where viOLet decides to go for a one-base build, knowing that Attero is probably going to go for that fast expand again.
Interesting. Well, viOLet hits the middle of the map with the first scouting overlord here, and goes for the same play as before.
Actually, this is spawning pool and then gas. So, I mean, not only is he saying, I'm committing to getting out Zerglings and Queens faster, but on top of that, I'm committing to, you know, to getting my my speed up or some type of tech up faster. So this very well could be some sort of roach play out of viOLet off the one base.
Well, that's going to be welcome here, because viOLet typically just macros his opponent out of the game. And I would love to see a little bit of action here, especially in this Forge Expand situation. Love to see some kind of bust.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of busts out of a lot of different players. We've seen some very creative Baneling type busts against some of the less tight wall-offs that Protoss can throw up, and we've also seen, you know, busts with roaches, and I think that that's probably the most common, the one that everyone thinks of. You know, of course, oh, but it looks like viOLet gonna go ahead and throw down that expand. Now, I did see a game, I think it was Chef playing, where he threw down the expand and then threw down a roach warden and then canceled the expand and made roaches. And so that's kind of a good juke on your opponent. Given viOLet's style, don't think we're going to be seeing that out of them. He seems to like to get on that about a 50 to 60 drone number and then start making units. And
you know, it's kind
aggressive.
of interesting that you just mentioned there, Gwin, is, you know, especially players like me, because you know, I'm not at this level where I would recognize a fake of a fake, if that makes any sense. So, like, for instance, I'm sure Attero is seeing this expansion here, and he's probably considered, well, he's going to leave it up. Or maybe not. Maybe he plans on canceling it. He's got a roach warren going up right now, and he's just going to come at me with a bunch of roaches. Like, these types of situations here, what would you recommend to players at the platinum, gold, silver level when they're watching these players and they're looking for something to comp off of them? What's the best thing to comp in these situations here?
I think that the big things to steal from, let's just look at Attero for a moment. The big things to steal from Attero's play here is that he went Forge, and then he got a Nexus, okay? And then he got a cannon and a gateway, and he's walled off his front. So steal his wall off, because he's got a tight wall off there. Steal his gas timings, and steal whatever tech he picks next. And if we look at this, he's actually chronoing out some Zealots. So this is a style that Kiwi Kaki has made pretty popular, where he chronos out some Zealots, is aggressive against the early Zerg third with those Zealots, and then falls back on some Stargate play. And he's had varied success with that. You know, as players have learned his style, he's gone, okay, well, you know, I have to change this up. But before players had really figured it out, it was something that you could throw in and be very successful with. So I think in a situation like this, where we effectively have a best of one, a little bit of unorthodox play like this is great, and he is following it up with that Stargate.
Yep. Well, Attero likes having those Void Rays around, specifically for, as I mentioned earlier, just the denial of the third and the fourth in the later game. We're probably just going to see him put out a Void Ray, put it on patrol somewhere that doesn't even really matter in the interim on the map, but you'll see it begin to matter later as the Zerg player begins to expand further out. We'll see if he ends up doing that. Maybe he's going to go Phoenix this time. Who knows?
We will have to see. It looks like he's saving enough money up for that Void Ray. Should have enough now. Those do cost quite a bit of minerals. Finally getting started there. So, as far as going back to your original question there, Rance, if we look at viOLet's play, it's a lot harder to steal Zerg play because Zerg is a reactionary race. However, I would say that the general theme to viOLet's play is that, hey, I get an expansion relatively quickly. I'm going to get an evolution chamber because I want some spores to be safe against DTs and airplay from Protoss, both very common follow-ups to that Forge Fast Expand. I'm going to get 3 queens, a third one to help with creep spread, and I'm going to get a lot of drones and just mainly focus my economy on upgrades and drones and teching. And I'm not going to build units until I know that the Protoss is going to move out. And see, that's that really, really tricky part to get, is it's like, okay, well, when do I actually build units? And that's why so many Zerg players, Protoss will roll up to their base with a death ball, and the Zerg is just going to be like, well, I guess I just die now because I have 5 Zerglings. And I've definitely been in that position before.
Loving the Phoenix here, especially for scouting for the moment. We'll see how much he can scout with that, but I really especially love the Void Ray with Phoenix combo. But you can see, now I was expecting to see a patrol path here, Gwin, because this is what we saw from him previously, was just a patrol from this location to the upper.
Okay.
And it just stayed there the whole game.
I
but
think
as you
he's
can see,
looking for some overlords at this point in the game.
Right, he's cleaning the map right now. Maybe he'll be able to catch this creep tumor when he pops the next one. Maybe not.
I mean, that's always another great thing to do as a Protoss player, denying your opponent's creep spread. But look at this, adding on double Robo already and a support base. So he is definitely going Colossus. He's already forced Hydralisk, so this is a great transition out of him. You know, it only took 1 Phoenix and 1 Stargate, and I think that that's one of the other things that is kind of the beauty of being able to force a Zerg into something. Because viOLet doesn't know if he's going 2-star, if he's continuing to make Void Rays, if he's making Phoenixes, if he's just hiding all this stuff, and it's very, very difficult to scout. So what does viOLet have to do? He has to make Hydralisks. And what is exceptionally good against Hydralisk? Of course, the Colossus.
See the Baneling nest coming down from viOLet here as well, and just lings for day.
We actually saw Overlord Speed and Overlord Drop just finish up.
Baneling drops.
So we might get to see some Baneling drops on top of this death ball. I am so excited.
Oh, I'm giddy right now because we saw something like this last week too. And it's so sneaky how he gets it in there, because he'll come in with a handful of roaches and wings, and then suddenly out of the corner, pow, Baneling. We'll see how it goes down this time.
But Attero is going to know that those Overlords have speed as he's shooting them, and they are running away far too fast. He's also going to know that there's Hydralisk out on the map, so we're a couple shooting. And I believe he saw those Banelings as well.
There's no way he missed that, Gwin, I'm sure. A little bit surprising he's remaining on 2 base this long, though. I mean, this would be the time where I would think about, hey, wait a minute, there's a third going down. He did scout it, right? He scouted it, right?
I'm not sure if he actually scouted the third.
Look?
He did not scout the third, so he does not know that the third is down. He does see that there are a lot of fast Overlords moving through the middle of the map, though. And that should be a sign that that he should be wary.
Well, there's definitely enough units on the map here to do some pretty serious damage, as you can see. Not really much of an answer up front here for the air units, but look at that, a zillion bajillion of these Zerglings.
Hold on,
here.
though, there's an Overlord moving into the main. down a little bit.
You're right.
And that Void Ray, will it be able to catch it in time? No, it does drop off 2 of its Baneling, but that Photon Cannon, so well placed, is able to repel that attack. So viOLet going to have to pull back, and he is actually behind in supply right now.
Wow, things are looking pretty nice for Attero, but with viOLet finally getting this third up, he's got some choices to make for the macro. Of course, in the tech department, the brand new building that comes up, nice tasty spire. Planning on the late game, perhaps, with the corruption production.
I mean, the Corruptors could be for a couple purposes. It could be that he's just like, well, I need to make Corruptors because he has gotten Colossus out and he's going double Robo. There's no way you could have the Colossus count that he does. I mean, look, that's 4 on the field. 2 or another one I would expect in production shortly. So we'll have to see what Attero decides to do here, but this could be a very nice timing for Attero, pushing out with those 4 Colossus.
There's a lot of Banelings out there, buddy. I think this is an army that is weak to Banelings, and especially Zerglings here. If he can get some of those Banes off on those Zealots, this is going to be no problem for viOLet.
And that is a lot of Corruptors. Woo! Those Banelings are going to start dropping. Attero pulling his army back. Will it be enough? No, it looks like those Banelings are going to do so much damage to this army, and Attero plummeting in supply, forced to pull back.
Yeah, that was no surprise. The twist that viOLet loves to throw out is, of course, the Baneling drops. Unfortunately, the comp was superior here with the addition of these Corruptors, and they're just gonna they make Colossi such a bad value, man.
They absolutely do. I mean, that's the thing, and that's the reason that you go for the Corruptor in this situation. Look at this. Attero forced to cancel that Nexus that he was putting down at the 3rd because of the imminent counterattack, and continue, or I guess he switched over to Immortal production. Now, I like this, but the Immortal really doesn't do that well against Zerglings, and there are no roaches on the field.
Yep.
So, I mean, Colossus is really the only thing you can go, but he doesn't want Colossus, so maybe Zealot Archon. But Banelings are really good against Zealots. He's been really put in a bind here by viOLet.
What a treat to watch viOLet play. What a treat. There you go, +1 to air. Coming up here for viOLet. He lets it continue, even though he may or may not continue on his path there. But just a zillion Zerglings with map control and plenty of other units around here. 3rd just now started here in Attero's base, and as we can see, viOLet not going to allow this to happen. And with his amazing harass of the 3rd base we saw all last week, someone's got to come up with the answer for this.
I mean, really, he is, at this point, he has denied 200 minerals from Attero just in those 2 cancels, not to mention the minerals lost in dropping down those pylons repeatedly. I mean, and 200 minerals isn't a lot, but it's 2 Zealots. And, I mean, 2 Zealots, or if he had the gas, that's some Archons. So, and look at this, the switch into Mutalisk with the +1 attack already.
This is a good plan.
This primarily Zealot Immortal Force. I mean, there's nothing he can do at this point. Yeah. And, I mean, in addition, you know, viOLet has got the Hydralisks. There's a lot of cannons going down, and they're all going to be canceled.
Everything. He's going straight into the Archons. Loving the Archon idea. We saw him roll through, not viOLet with these Archons, but I believe it was Artis last week. Got rolled with the Archon plan. Artis playing Terran in that matchup there.
Oh.
Went heavy bio. Went down to just a late 4 Archon addition like this. It wasn't anything more than that either. It wasn't anything in mass. It was just 4 of them. But look at viOLet with the sound play, drone transfers, and the 5th, as well as, oh, I thought that was a macro right there. I thought it was. Just Zerglings. And wow, let's check out some tallies here while we're at it. How far behind is Attero right now, Gwin?
I mean, probe count, he's actually not that far behind. I would say that this is probably pretty typical for Protoss on like 2.5 to 3 base versus a Zerg on 3 base. I'm surprised that viOLet hasn't produced more drones at this point, but he has always seemed to go for a little bit more of a expensive unit combo where he doesn't quite have the drone supply where he's just going to be mastery placing units.
Templar Archives going down, which is a huge blow to the tech of the Protoss. And these Mutalisks are going to be amazing value in this situation, as both Robos being taken down as well. And wow, what's the plan here, folks? Well, I don't know, because I can't get my Archons back to defend this, says Attero. He's going to send his 4 Archons, which should be able to get rid of these Mutas at least.
Oh,
yeah.
and that is so much damage done to those
Yeah.
Mutas.
Gee.
Archons are absolutely ridiculous against Mutalisks, especially when they are stacked up. There's a little bit of a misstep there out of viOLet, but had to kill off his own Forge. That is one of those, players who are listening, who want to improve their Protoss play. Keep in mind
Those details.
that if you wall off like he did, you will have to kill that building. Oh, that's a lot of Banelings.
Well, this, as it seems to be just maybe a couple of attack moves away from a possible victory here. If this Mutaball goes down and these Archons stay up, though, that's going to be a different story, methinks. But you're right, Gwyn. Look at that.
I mean, that's 3 pages of Banelings.
Yep. Pretty unbelievable, sir.
That's 61 Banelings.
And here comes the attack move at the 3rd location. Banelings, Banelings, Banelings. Oh, damn, son. And nearly the entire Protoss army goes down, but there's still way too many Archons up right now.
And a little bit of magic box from those Mutalisks going to finish off the Archons. 4 more, though, in production. And look at that. viOLet just going to go ahead and pull back. And if we jump to the production tab, it looks like he is remaxing just on pure Zergling, which at this point, it doesn't even really matter.
Bling, bling. Lots of Zerglings coming up here. But yeah, you're right, Gwyn. This is just filler time at this point, as it seems viOLet has the number of his opponent with that last Archon going down, and this many Zerglings just chilling. Get ready for the GG, my friends.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think, and the Attero at 18 supply goes for the GG.
GG!
So last week's finals, guys, we have seen in the semis now.